Austrian court overturns primary school hijab ban. Austria's constitutional court recently struck down a law prohibiting primary school children from wearing specific head coverings. Coming into effect last year, the legislation did not specify that the hijab was banned, but instead prohibited the wearing of, quote, religious clothing that is associated with a covering of the head, end quote, for children younger than 10. However, the government had previously said that head coverings worn by Sikh boys or the Jewish skullcap, aka kippah, would not be affected. The court thusly decided that the ban was aimed uniquely at Muslim headscarves. The court president Christoph Grabenwarter said, quote, the selective ban applies exclusively to Muslim schoolgirls and thereby separates them in a discriminatory manner from other pupils. So I support this overturning because it was not being applied evenly.
Why can't you just apply it evenly instead of overturning it?
Well, because it was not actually the government had made statements saying that specific ones were exempted.
Well, just remove the exemptions.
Well, okay. It's a little bit complicated. Like, let me find it. Just a second.
Yeah, I agree with Katie here. They need to ban all kinds of religious symbols. Yeah, this is public school, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But, huh?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. What the hell? So something is not being done properly, and instead of fixing it, you just throw it away? I don't agree with the hell's wrong.
The language of it needs to be like redone, basically.
No, Lurian. Okay, Lurian, you say Lurian is saying let people wear whatever they effing want. Yeah, they can wear whatever they want when at home or in public, not in government-funded institutions. That you should replace separation of religion and states is very important. You cannot start using government-funded institutions as a way to advertise your religion.
Yeah, so the way that my understanding is, because I can't speak the language, I can't really dig into the verbiage of the legislation myself, is that it was written in a way that was bound to be applied in a discriminatory manner. So it basically needs to be rewritten. So let me provide a little bit of background on this. The law was passed during the previous coalition government in which the Conservative People's Party was allied with the far-right Freedom Party. The court said the law would lead to the marginalization of Muslim girls. It also rejected, meaning it being the court, the government's argument that the prohibition could protect girls from social pressures from classmates, saying that it penalized the wrong people. It said, if necessary, the state needed to draw up legislation to better prevent bullying on the grounds of gender or religion.
This is religious privilege. No other. What if you wanted to come to school with like a triple K costume, Whoa. Right? Or the Yahtzee symbol, right? Mm-hmm. Like people will be like, nope. No. Like, oh, but my sky daddy told me I have to wear this. Oh, okay, then. This is basically the government recognizing divine authority. Okay? I think this to me shows Sikh and Jewish privilege, right? Because they realize that they can go again. I'm going to defend the Muslims here, okay? Mm-hmm. Because it seems too easy to go after Muslims to remove their headscarf. And then all of a sudden, when they realize, oh, we have to go after the Jewish people as well, they're like, yeesh, we cannot. And they're like, yeah, we don't want to tell them that they have to remove their religious symbols. Like, okay, forget it. They're like, what the hell? This is religious privilege. These are the standards that they would be able to apply in public school if people didn't have the excuse of my sky daddy told me that I have to wear this, right? We have to remove religious privilege. This is not you being unfair to religious people. This is you removing their privileges. And removing their privileges to a lot of people sounds like they're being harassed or targeted because they're so used to their privileges.
And this is for children, guys, remember, and think about what the hijab represents.
Yeah, so yeah, this is anti-indoctrination of children. God damn it, yeah.
And
yeah.
so, here's a good quote. Education Minister Heinz Fossman said he took note of the judgment, but added, quote, "I regret that girls will not have the opportunity to make their way through the education system free from compulsion," end quote. The Austria's Islamic faith community, which represents the country's Muslims and brought the legal challenge, welcomed the ruling. Quote, "Ensuring equal opportunities and self-determination for girls and women in our societies is not achieved through bans," it said in a statement. When the legislation was first proposed in 2018, Chancellor Sebastian Kurz said that the goal was to, quote, "confront any development of parallel societies in Austria." So this is similar to Emmanuel Macron's efforts to make sure that French Muslims in his country are fully integrated into French society and enjoy all the rights that are granted to them as citizens of the Republic. Vice Chancellor Heinz Christian Strauch of the Freedom Party said the government wanted to protect girls from political Islam, which is
from Islam as a whole, though.
Yeah, kind of a stupid thing to say. But the ban came into force in May 2019, just days after Mr. Strauch was forced to resign after being secretly filmed offering public contracts to a woman posing as a Russian oligarch's niece. Oh, interesting. The People's Party is now in coalition with the Green Party, but the government had still intended to extend the headscarf ban up to the age of 14. The coalition's current program stipulates that children should grow up, quote, "with as little coercion as possible," end quote. The only example it gives is the wearing of headscarves. So that's where the problem comes in.
By the way, the forcing that is happening, these are children, okay? The actual forcing that is happening is by the parents on these children, okay? Yeah. So this will give the kids an excuse to not be forced by the parents to wear the hijab or whatever are the religious symbols that they are forced. Like people are like, oh, they have the right, they should have the right to choose. Well, they don't. Yeah, exactly. So stop the parents from forcing hijab on their children. The children are not choosing this. Their parents are choosing it for them. And by the laws like this makes it more difficult for parents to force religion on their children.
Luke is saying hijab and self-determination, two words that don't really work.
Exactly.
Especially for children. Yeah, and again, remember, this original ruling was just a ban for children under the age of 10.
Yeah, this is a great law. It's funny how people are like, let people wear what they want. Yes, please. Stop the parents. Yes, people, like, they're talking about children and they're telling us that, oh, you should let them wear what they want. Yeah, this law is stopping the parents from forcing their gut bull crap on their kids. Exactly for making sure that children are not being forced by their parents to adhere to religious standards, being brainwashed by them. This is a good law. This is going to introduce...
Sexualized as a prepubescent child.
Yeah. Honestly, I think hijab for children should be illegal, given what it means. Anyways, I don't know about that, actually. At least for children. Yeah. I don't know. Okay. Any other comments on this?
No, if this was applied evenly, I think this is good. Oh, Lewis has an interesting question. Hi, Lewis. It's good to see you again. Lewis is saying, will the parents keep the girls out of school? So this is a concern I always have, because there are certain women and girls who experience a situation where it's like, if you're not wearing some form of covering, you're not leaving the house. And I would rather have them covered in being able to leave the house, receive that education, because then they would have more opportunity, a greater likelihood of being to create the resources within themselves to leave that situation altogether and live independently. That if that's the situation, I'm for that. Now, I don't know if this is the case. I know in Germany, children cannot be homeschooled. You have to go to public school, or the government will come after the parents. I don't know what the situation is like in Austria. So when Germany had similar legislation, parents do not have the option to just keep girls out of school. If anyone knows if that's a similar situation in Austria, please let me know. Armin, you're muted.
Why didn't you tell me? I've been speaking for a while.
For a second, I with my headphones.
Okay, Tim has the same concern, and I understand the concern, but that shouldn't be a concern. The concern people have is that what if they don't let their kids go to school if you don't allow them to wear the hijab in public schools? Guys, this is government-funded public schools, okay? So of course the religious symbols shouldn't be allowed. And
this is secular education.
Yeah, that would be secular education. But that shouldn't be a concern that the parents would not let their kids to go to school, because that's illegal. You cannot not have your kids not go to school, right? You cannot. So you don't have a choice. Your kids have to go to public school. Okay.
People are giving us more information. Oh wait, whoops. Saying in Austria, public education is mandatory. So that's not really an issue.
That's exactly.
Also saying education is compulsory in Austria as well. So
there you go. So this is actually a perfect two things. Like education is mandatory, and hijab and other religious symbols are banned. This is a perfect way of not allowing parents to indoctrinate and brainwash the children. You're like, oh, you let them wear what they want. Exactly. They are children. The parents shouldn't be able to force the hijab on them. That's why this is a good law.
Yeah, and Deborah had the same immediate concern as me, because
Deborah
is an ex-fundamentalist. Deborah saying right away, I saw them keeping them home and homeschooling, because if you can't leave the house covered, then you're not leaving the house at all.
That shouldn't be allowed.
Simplification of the mentality. But that's not the case in Austria, because it's compulsory.
Now I see this is why France is going the right way and restricting homeschooling as well. Okay, homeschooling should only be for special needs or certain others, concerns that would be allowed. You don't get to keep your kids at home and indoctrinate them. You don't have possession over your children. The government is supposed to protect its citizens, and children are the main citizens that need to protect, especially if they need protection from the indoctrination and the brainwashing of their parents. They need to be exposed to secular education, and they need to do it without advertising their religious dogma to other kids. Yeah. And also subscribe to our newsletter, because if we get removed from all these platforms, at least we could reach out to you. And guys, by the way, if you subscribe to our newsletter, you get a free copy. Where's your copy, Susanna? Get it. We're doing promotion. You get a free. It's not even promotion. It's free. Okay, so if you subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description, you get a free copy of Why There's No God. Come on, like I'm handing it out for free. Okay, it's a bestseller on Amazon, and you get it for free. So subscribe to our newsletter, and you get a free copy of Why There's No God sent to you. Link in the description.